Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Nicole, Kevin, and Frank about Strays premiering on CBC September 14th. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I mean, Nicole, Shannon's back. She's moved to Hamilton. What's that like working on another show, the same character you worked on Kim's?
It's really cool because, as an actor, when you're starting a role, you're like, oh, I need to do all this backstory work and figure out what her history was. So all of that was kind of done for me. And then once we got the cast of Strays together, I gush about them all the time, but something that I kept on saying was that this, Shannon's the fish out of water. She's the new boss. She's trying to kind of figure out everybody's temperature on Strays, and a testament to how good and funny and fully realized this cast was it just felt like this animal shelter existed before. I just walked into this kind of breathing, beating world that could happen with or without Shannon. So it was so much to work with and so much to play off of. Really.
Absolutely. Now, Kevin, I find this interesting. Ensemble cast, we're going to meet a lot of really cool, different people in Strays. A lot of laughs, a lot of characters provide the laughs. I really enjoy your character. Your character, Kevin, is just amazing. It's so much fun. What was it like kind of stepping in the shoes of this character specifically for this project?
I've been telling so many people, it's been very therapeutic to be able to play a character that was just a very different side of myself. I feel like it's a character that I've played on stage on improv. That's the natural go-to for me, is that natural energy. So for me to have seen when I got the audition, I was like, oh my God, I feel like I know this guy.
Yeah.
So I just tried to tap into the side of me that I don't think that I'm constantly afraid of. And as I also afraid of people just hating me for for maybe being that person. But it was so great. It felt so liberating and freeing to do.
And Frank, I do have to ask too, obviously so great, so many amazing, cuddly, amazing friends on set, a lot of amazing animals. Your character specifically deals with a lot of those animals. What was it like working on a show where the animals are front, red, and center, Frank?
Well, it makes everything really fun. It also, it's there is this old adage, in show business, never work with animals or children or whatever. And we're kind of the exception, but maybe we're also the exception that proves the rule. It's not easy. They're not performers. If anyone tells you they're amazing performers, they're lying. They're amazing and they're adorable. But there were moments where they were like, Frank, could you just make sure the ferret doesn't wriggle in your shirt while you're doing the scene? And we're like, I'm trying my hardest to make sure the ferret does not wriggle into my shirt while we're doing the scene. But it did also just make the vibe on set just so joyous. So wait, you get to play with cute puppies and kittens all day? Yes, I literally get to play with cute puppies and kittens all day. It's amazing.
Frank often got the ferret too. I feel like Frank was the ferret wrangler.
There's just something about
in
Frank.
This scene. I wonder what. Oh, I know. Maybe could we give Frank a ferret?
Climbing all around his neck, and he's just in character in the scene. He never broke. I was always thinking it was so good.
You all thought yet about? Because it's Calm Before the Storm. People are going to be able to see it on CBC on September 14th, which is exciting. Have you thought about takeaways in terms of what you're hoping they get out of it when they watch the show, Nicole?
I think that the people that love Shannon and kind of connect with Shannon and the way that she walks through life with her heart outside of her body. What I love about playing her so much is that she's always looking for the good. She's always optimistic. She forever believes in people. This staff tests her endlessly. So I think that what people will take away is that they'll get to see this amazing story and this amazing ensemble about a bunch of misfits who are trying to find a home, and a bunch of animals that these people are trying to help find a home too. It's really cool.
Kevin, can you add to that a little bit, takeaway wise?
I like a bit more of a sense of community and togetherness.
Yeah.
Like I think it's so fun that we have all these characters that are just so different, and I think like outside of I think maybe a little bit of the norm, you know, and the fact that they're all together, sort of making a family and creating. Yeah, they're all strays, you know, and they're all creating their own family and community together. So I hope that sort of is able to bring misfits together and bring other strays together, you know.
Absolutely. Frank, I'm curious what the mindset is as an actor, as a storyteller, when you work on a project as a new character in a spin-off of a popular TV show in the past. Like, what's that mindset like for you as an actor, like doing that on a spin-off?
Like, my background is really in theater, and I had this weird thing happen where my life kind of like blew up and, you know, fell apart in a lot of ways because of the pandemic. And so this show like coincided with, just for me personally, like this kind of new thing of like, I had this new job, but it was also a thing that was very different from anything that I'd done before. And so like finding the character in this new setting and having like the new boss come in, which is kind of the premise of the show, like trying to figure out how we move forward with like love and hope in this new crazy world, also kind of felt like what I was going through, like not just as an actor, but like as a guy, and like what a lot of my friends were going through. Like we were all like, okay, here's this new crazy thing. How do we show up now, and how do we keep moving forward? So in some ways, like totally Nicole was our rock. Like, you know, she did have this like tone and this vision, and there's just this like this sense of like the comedy of it, but then also the beating heart that we all just needed to kind of like get one hand on, and then we found the tone of the show right away. But I think like big picture, there was also something to the like, how do we do this? It's crazy new. We're all wearing masks. That like was both how we made the show and how we all got through last year, like big picture.
Yeah, that mindset question I keep asking, I like, because like before COVID, like, because people are saying mindset is, you know, COVID protocols, right? But I'm like, I wanted to know like just in general about like preparing. But yeah, that question always gets like taken over by COVID, like masks and protocols.
Yeah, so many people, we made this show in masks, like, which was crazy. And so like, you know, and so the love that was under it like felt so real, but it was also this like weird thing where it was like, what do you actually look like under there? Who are you?
I do think what was so nice about it too. Oh, go Nicole.
No, you.
I'll go. I think what was so nice too is that and maybe this is what you're about to say, but the crew and the most, I think most of that crew had come from Kim, so it was nice that family was already established. So coming into this show, it was most of the cast that was coming into like this new family, and they were also accepting of us and so nice and so generous. So it really felt so easy to just like slip into like already what felt like a family dynamic, you know?
No, for sure.
I just felt like, I felt like a new adopted child in a beautiful home.
For sure. That interests me though, Nicole, because it's because people are going to be able to see Strays and they know Shannon from Kim's Convenience. And, you know, Shannon is very energetic, very bubbly, wants to get along with everyone. But she's in an interesting situation. She's moved to Hamilton. She's getting to know a lot of new characters. She's kind of setting up her life in a certain way, like post handy car rental. I mean, what's your mindset too? Where yes, I'm playing Shannon. I'm playing the same character I did on Kim's, but might be a lot different now because the whole landscape is completely different. That I find is interesting and challenging for a storyteller as well, Nicole.
That's such a great question. It's something that I thought about a lot because, as I said earlier, like the backstory and the history of Shannon, obviously I have all that work done, which puts me in a really great place to kind of jump into new scenes with new characters. But being the lead of the show, obviously we need to see a lot more heart and vulnerability from Shannon. And she's not always the punchline or, you know, the support to the joke. And I have obviously these amazing comedic actors with me that I now get to set up for the joke and for the punchline. And then they helped me so much bring out sides in Shannon that I didn't even, you know, explore yet. So it was like, I mean, I'm a theater person as well. So, so working in that way is really important to me. And our entire cast are seasoned theater actors and could do, you know, Hamlet tomorrow if they wanted to. So I was just working with like such incredible powerhouses, and they like lifted me up and really helped me kind of establish this new world.
And Frank, you mentioned you have theater background as well. Kevin, did you have a theater background as well?
Yeah. I come from like sketch comedy and a bit of musical theater.
But that's
So,
where
yeah,
you
I
learn
like-
the craft too, right? Like that's where it kind of all starts, right?
Yeah, I think most people kind of like get the bug from doing like community theater or whatever it is when they're younger or even when they're older. But I think stages, where most people kind of start out.
Absolutely.
I don't know now with all this YouTube stuff, but
Oh, for sure.
different landscapes.
I'm curious also about like the learning experiences. I mean, I'm like besides the whole like working with masks and the COVID, Frank, right? Like learning experiences on this show in terms of the genre of the show, the characters. Like Frank, what was that like learning experiences wise for you working on Strays?
Well, I think there's something to like the structure of a sitcom that has like there's a way that an episode can work and like choices you can make on the inside of it, but there's also something like to the whole idea of like next week everyone's going to show up and try again. That has this sort of like hope under it. There's something inherently kind of hopeful to episodic TV where like even though the comedy comes from like us all kind of missing each other and things not quite working out, there's something about like everyone gets invited back and we keep trying to find a sense of home that like it took me a while to realize that, to learn, to feel that that the repetition of it, the episodic nature has something kind of really kind of beautiful under it and loving under it. And that, I don't know, that helped me a lot. And it was something new. Excuse me. It was something new for me.
What happened there?
This like realization about the kind of hopeful nature of episodic TV, or just the hope that's baked into it, was something that you can kind of only learn by doing it. And having done other things like theater or even just being like a day player on TV before, you don't get that what comes from the showing up every week.
And that like momentum too, right?
Absolutely. No, for sure. It's almost out. September 14th. Has it hit you all? Like, Nicole, has it hit you that people are going to see Shattered again very soon?
I mean, I feel like it's been like varying levels of like dropping in for me because it's been such a long time in development. But I think when I saw the cast all start to, I was out of town the last couple of weeks, but when I saw the cast start to share these like buses and like little pictures go by, it kind of has become real. But I'm just really excited for people to get to see this ensemble. I think it's really special, and I'm really proud of what we created in season 1, especially in a pandemic. Like the chemistry and energy was just out of this world. So I'm excited.
Oh, absolutely. Frank, Kevin, Nicole, I want to thank you so much for coming on Popternative to chat about Strays. The show is great. I really enjoy it. Everyone's going to be able to see it soon. Thank you so much for your time. Seriously.
Thanks, Pete.
Thanks for having us.
You're wonderful.
Awesome.
And very quickly, could you just plug away where people can follow you on social media, Nicole? Like probably Instagram is the best way.
Yeah, it's mostly pictures of my dog. So very,
very appropriate. Yeah.
It's at Nicole P. Power. Nicole Power was taken. I don't know.
Frank, what about you?
I'm on Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I
You
do
just
know.
joined.
I just joined. I'm really into it. They got me into it. I'm at Frank C_O, and it's awesome.
And Kevin, what about you?
I'm at not Kevin Vidal on Instagram.
But you are Kevin Vidal.
But I'm not Kevin Vidal.
But you're not.
Yeah.
Perfect. This has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative. For previous episodes, you're going to be able to catch Nicole, Kevin, and Frank in Strays, premiering September 14th on CBC. Until next time, this is Kevin, Nicole, Frank, and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.